What if I told you Chevy built an engine so massive it's like having a small nuclear reactor under your hood, an engine that drinks more gas per minute than you do water in a day? In this video, we're counting down Chevy's 8 biggest, baddest V8 engines ever made. These aren't just engines, they're the stuff of legend that kept Ford execs up at night. So get ready to see why bigger really is better in the world of Chevy V8s. L88 427, the undercover powerhouse. Picture this, it's 1967 and Chevy's about to unleash a monster that'll make Ford wish they never started this horsepower war. Enter the L88 427, the engine that lied straight to your face about its power. Chevy said it had 430 horses under the hood, but let's be real, this beast was packing over 500 horsepower. Why the lie? Simple. Chevy wanted to dominate the racetrack without raising any red flags. They knew if they told the truth, their competitors would cry foul. But on the street, this L88 was a whole different animal. It gulped down high-octane fuel like it was going out of style. Regular drivers found out real quick that this wasn't your everyday cruiser. Watch carefully because the L88 427 was just the beginning. Chevy was warming up, flexing its muscles and getting ready to blow the doors off the competition. The horsepower wars were heating up and Chevy, they were just getting started. LS6 454, the muscle car king. Remember how Chevy lied about the L88's power? Well, with the LS6 454, they didn't even bother hiding it. Imagine an engine so powerful, it made the Chevelle SS not just fast, but legendary. We're talking about a street-legal rocket that had Ford and Mopar engineers sweating bullets. But here's the kicker, this monster came with a price, and I'm not just talking about the sticker shock. It's 1970 and the muscle car scene is on fire. Chevy rolls out the LS6 454, packing a mind-blowing 450 horsepower. This wasn't just an engine, it was Chevy's nuclear option in the horsepower wars. The Chevelle SS, armed with this beast, became one of the fastest factory muscle cars ever. It could turn tires into smoke faster than you can say quarter mile. But let's be honest, all that power came at a cost. The LS6 454 drank gas like it was going out of style, and in hot weather, this thing got so hot you could practically cook eggs on the hood. But for gearheads, it was worth every drop of fuel and every degree of heat. This engine didn't just compete, it dominated. So watch carefully because Chevy was just warming up. They had even bigger plans brewing. Now, before we move forward, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Vortek 8100, the workhorse giant. Enter the Vortek 8100, a massive 8.1 litre behemoth that Chevy unleashed on the world of heavy-duty trucks. This wasn't just an engine, it was a statement. With 340 horsepower and a monstrous 455 pound-feet of torque, this thing could tow a small house and barely break a sweat. Sure, it guzzled gas like there was no tomorrow, but who cares when you're pulling a 30-foot trailer up a mountain? This engine found its home in beasts like the Chevrolet Suburban 2500 and Silverado HD. These weren't just trucks, they were unstoppable forces of nature. But here's the kicker, the Vortek 8100 wasn't just about brute strength, it was built to last. We're talking about an engine that laughed in the face of extreme conditions. It was the kind of reliability that made grown men weep with joy. ZZ502, the hot rodder's dream. Chevy's engineers weren't satisfied with just dominating the truck market. They had their sights set on a different kind of beast altogether. Remember the golden age of hot rodding? Well, Chevy was about to inject it with a dose of 20th century steroids. The ZZ502 was coming, and it was bringing enough horsepower to wake the dead. Picture this, it's the 1990s and hot rodders are hungry for more power. Chevy answers with a gift that'll make grown men cry. The ZZ502 crate engine. This wasn't just an engine, it was 502 horses of pure American muscle, ready to drop into your dream machine. That's enough twist to rip the asphalt right off the road. Here's why the ZZ502 became the holy grail for gearheads. It was powerful, it was reliable, and it was ready to rock right out of the box. Custom builders and restoration nuts couldn't get enough of it. The engine turned average builds into showstoppers and made classic cars perform like modern supercars. But let's be honest, all that power came with some serious challenges. Tuning this beast was like trying to tame a wild stallion, and cooling, you need a system that could handle the heat of a small sun. But for those who could master it, the ZZ502 was the ticket to hot rod heaven. because Chevy was just getting started. They had something even bigger cooking in their mad scientist lab. 540 cubic inch crate engine, the drag strip dominator. Just when he thought Chevy couldn't possibly go any bigger, they dropped a bombshell on the drag racing world. Picture this, it's the early 2000s and Chevy unveils an engine that makes the ZZ502 look like a kid's toy. How big? Try 540 cubic inches of pure, unadulterated American muscle. But size wasn't the only thing that set this engine apart. It was about to rewrite the rules of what was possible on the quarter mile. Chevy's 540 cubic inch crate engine wasn't just big, it was a game changer. This monster delivered so much torque and horsepower that drag racers across the country were falling over themselves to get their hands on one. Why? Because this engine could go toe-to-toe with purpose-built racing power plants and come out on top. But here's the thing, all that power came with a price. Tuning this beast was like trying to tame a wild bull. You needed serious skills and a cooling system that could handle the heat of 1,000 suns. And don't even get me started on the fuel and exhaust systems. Drag racers had to upgrade everything just to keep up with this monster. But for those who could handle it, pure magic. Racers couldn't stop talking about how this engine delivered consistent power, lap after lap. It was like having a nuclear reactor under the hood, one that could actually last. ZZ572, the street legal monster. Remember how Chevy laughed at 500 horsepower? Well, they were about to unleash an engine so powerful it needed its own zip code. The ZZ572 wasn't just a step up, it was a whole new ball game. And the best part, you could drive it to the grocery store if you dared. Chevy didn't just make one ZZ572, they made two, a 620 horsepower street version for the brave and a 720 horsepower race version for the truly insane. Let's be honest, even the tame one could turn your grandma's Impala into a quarter-mile monster. This thing had more torque than a freight train and could make the toughest gearhead giggle like a schoolgirl. The ZZ572 changed everything. It wasn't just an engine, it was Chevy showing off. They took the crate engine game and cranked it up to 11. But putting this beast in a street car, that's when the real fun began. You needed a cooling system that could tame a volcano and a fuel system that flowed like Niagara Falls. But watch carefully, because Chevy wasn't done yet. ZZ632-1000, breaking the 1000 HP barrier. Remember that ace up Chevy's sleeve? Well, they just threw down a royal flush. In 2021, Chevy unveiled an engine that didn't just push the envelope, it tore it to shreds. How does 1004 horsepower grab you? And get this, it runs on the same stuff you put in your lawnmower. The ZZ632-1000 isn't just Chevy's largest crate engine ever, it's a middle finger to physics. We're talking 1004 horses and 876 pound-feet of torque. That's enough power to make a space shuttle jealous. But here's the real kicker. This monster sips regular gas like it's no big deal. Chevy engineers must have made a deal with the devil to pull that off. Now you might be thinking, what kind of maniac builds a car around this engine? Well, it's not for your daily commute, that's for sure. We're talking about serious drag racers and show cars that need to melt faces. But even with all that power, it's got limits. You can't just slap this in your 69 Camaro and call it a day. Chevy's got one more trick up its sleeve that makes even this beast look tame. Godfather 1050, the ultimate V8. Just when you thought Chevy couldn't go any bigger, they drop a bomb that makes everything else look like a toy engine. Picture this, the most extreme form of drag racing when cars are more rocket than automobile. That's where the Godfather 1050 comes in, a 16.5 litre monument to excess that laughs in the face of practicality. This isn't just an engine, it's Chevy flexing so hard they might pull a muscle. We're talking about power figures that will make your head spin. But here's the thing, Chevy isn't even bothering to brag about the horsepower. Why? Because when you're dealing with something this massive, numbers don't even matter anymore. Let's be honest, the Godfather 1050 isn't meant for your Sunday drive. It's Chevy's way of saying, look what we can do when we throw away the rule book. This beast is so extreme, it makes NASA engineers nervous. And maintaining it, you better have deep pockets and a team of mechanics on speed dial. So watch carefully, because this is Chevy showing the world what's possible when they stop asking why and start asking why not. The Godfather 1050 isn't just an engine, it's a statement, a middle finger to limitations, and proof that in the world of V8s, From the L88 sneaky 500 horses to the Godfather 1050's mind-bending displacement, Chevy's journey through V8 history is nothing short of legendary. We've seen engines that lied about their power, monsters that dominated drag strips, and beasts that laughed in the face of fuel economy. But here's the million-dollar question: what's next for these gas-guzzling giants in a world going electric? Let's be honest, the future of big V8s is uncertain.